Hi, I'm Ev. Welcome to Beambod. Today's session, we're going to be focusing on flexibility with a particular focus on the front split. For this session, you'll just need your mat and you will need 2 yoga blocks as well. Let's get ready for the warm-up. You can just follow along with me as we go. So grab your yoga block, set yourself up in a lunging position. So your front leg is going to be bent at 90. Your back toe should be tucked under. We're going to take the block up overhead like that. Arrange your back leg to the position where you can start to feel a stretch through the front of the hip. And for 6 reps, we're going to start to bend backwards and over. So that's 1. As I'm bending over there, backwards, I'm increasing the stretch at the front of the hip. That's 4, 5, and 6. Let's swap sides. Tuck the toes under, front leg bent. Up we go. One more. Great. We'll go back to the first side that you were working on. This time the front leg is going to be straight. That knee is nice and straight. Your hands can be supporting you on either side, and you're going to just lower yourself down and hinge towards this front leg and press back up. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We'll swap sides. If you feel you need a little bit more assistance under the hands here, you can also use your yoga blocks to just bring you up a little bit higher. That's totally fine. Let's go for 6. Okay, let's go back to the first side again. Lunging position. You want to use your blocks here just to keep your chest up a little bit higher. That's what I'm going to do here. So we're lunging, we've got our hip open, and we're going to be focusing on bending the back knee. So we'll pull the heel up towards the bottom and just feeling a contraction in the hamstring as we do this. So pulling up like that. 2, and go for 6, that's 3, 4, 5, 6. And same thing on this side, open hip and pulling the heel up for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. To finish up this warm-up, I'm going to stand up and do some leg swings, so a little bit dynamic. We'll swing the legs forward, to the side, and to the back, working through 6 reps in each direction, so you can follow along or count your own reps. So I'm just going to use a little bit of support here as I swing my outer leg forwards and up. I'm going to focus all on the same side, So I'm working my right side. Now I'm going to do the kicks out to the side. And backwards. And flipping around, working our other leg now. That concludes our warm-up, so we're going to get stuck into the main part of our flexibility front split session. Okay, now that we're nice and warm, we're going to get into the next section, which is a bit of loaded movement. We're going to focus on the hips, the hamstrings, and activation through the glutes. So let's get stuck into this first one. We're going to arrange ourselves into quite a long lunge. So first leg out is out in front. Back leg is back. Okay, and we can just be slightly more open than a 90-degree angle here. That's our setup position. What we need to focus on is lifting up the back knee without lifting up our entire body. So we're really going to try to keep the hips in the position that they currently are as we lift the back knee off like that. So what that does is it puts all the load into the hip flexor that we're trying to stretch and strengthen. So let's go for 5 reps. You can have your hands on your hips. Ready, and let's lift for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Swapping sides. Same setup, just get comfortable with that. Hands on the hips, opening up through the hip here, and let's get ready. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We'll stand up. Next one is a focus on the hamstring. So if I'm focusing on my right side, the knee is going to remain locked out, and my left leg is just going to offer a little bit of support. It's not doing much, it's just helping me to stay balanced. I'm going to go hands on the hips again, and then hinge over, send the hips back as far as I can, really increasing the stretch and the load through the hamstring there. And again, we're going to work through 5. Set it up the same way on the other side. Now the left is going to be locked out, right's going to offer some support, and let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Coming down now into a quadruped position, so on all fours. Elbows are locked out, wrists are directly under the shoulders, and knees are also just directly under the hips here. We'll focus on one leg at a time, so we'll straighten it back out here, and we're going to do an active lift there, and the main focus is on contracting through the glute muscles. So we don't want to overarch here, okay, and sink in the back. We'll keep that pretty set, and we're just going to squeeze through the glutes. Let's go for 5 on each side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That knee can come down and we'll switch to the other side. Ready, and lift for 1. Good squeeze. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, now that we know the movements, we're going to run through them for another round. If it feels good and you've warmed into it a little bit, feel free to put a little bit more load into it as you do it. So we'll start with the long lunge. The way we do make this harder is by taking the foot out a little bit further forward than we did in the first round. So again, that's optional. But if you want to arrange yourself into more of a split looking position, feel free. Let's get ready and lift. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let's do a little hold here. And down. Switch over to the other side. Again, you can go a little longer if you feel comfortable with it. Get ready and lift the knee for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and hold, and rest. Coming up for our hamstrings. Remember, we're locking it out, getting a little bit of balance from the other leg to support, and folding and hinging over. Hips are going back. 1, 2. Try to avoid rolling forward in the spine in this one. 3, 4, and 5. Switch. And 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Back down to quadruped. Set up with the back knee straight, and let's lift. 1, 2. A really hard contraction through the glute. 3, 4, and 5. Switch it out. Let's go for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, that's our loaded movement section done. Have a little rest before our next section. Next up, we're going to get into our active flexibility work for the front split. You will need your yoga blocks for this section. And for the very first exercise, you can have them stacked up the way that I have here, or you can also use like a lounge or a chair or something like that that won't move around too much. So I'll show you how to get into this movement. We're going to have both our hands on the side with enough space to lunge in the middle, but we'll load one of the legs up onto the yoga blocks there. Okay, we'll come forward quite a bit into a really open lunge and just use your hands to support yourself into that position here. Our arms are going to be overhead for this movement, and we're focusing on tucking the hip under as much as we can. From there, we're going to be standing up and then lowering into the rep. Keep focusing on tucking the hip under as we do it. Let's go for 5 reps. Switching sides, same arrangement. Other leg goes back. Shuffle the other leg forward now. Lunge, arms go up, and let's work through our 5 reps. Okay, on our next movement, we're going to be mimicking our front split position a lot more. And we need our yoga block to support our front leg. We'll position it just under the hamstring, a little bit higher up from the knee. So you'll go into your front split position. Put your yoga block, position it under the hamstring. And we're really trying to be as square as we can be in the hips. From here, for the working sets, we're going to be doing a contraction with the front leg. So we'll push down into the yoga block here. We'll do that for a 5-second contraction. And when we let go of the contraction, we can see if we can sink into the split a little bit further. Normally the contraction will allow us that little bit more range. All right, so we're gonna get into those contractions now. Ready, and press down. 4, 3, 2, 1. And see if that allows you that little bit more opening into the split. And contract again, push down for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, relax. And last one, pushing down for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. And then coming out. In between, you can just sit back onto your heels for a sec. It's nice to close the hip angle after such an intense split, and then we'll switch to the other side. Okay, so same arrangement, yoga block under the front leg in our front split, and press the front leg down into the block for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and sink down. Ready, and pressing it down for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sink down. And last one, pressing down for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, sink down. And then again, just coming out of that one slowly. Just sit back on your heels for a little breather for your hips. And then we've got one more active split before we start this circuit again. So on this next one, you will need both of your yoga blocks to support you. We're going to have one of them in a similar position to what we just had, so under the front leg and under the hamstring. And then the back one is going to support the back leg. So let's arrange this. Get into our split. Takes a little bit of setting up, but that's okay. So you can play around with the height that you want your yoga blocks to sit as well. Once you feel quite supported here, we're just going to be focusing on the back leg. So we're going to try our best to lift the knee up a little bit off that block. And if you do feel like you're up too high, if you don't need the support of the front block, you can get rid of that one as well, which is what I'm feeling a little bit in mine. So I'll hold myself here, and then we're gonna focus on opening through that knee and pressing it off. That's 1 rep, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Coming out of that slowly. Rearrange your blocks so that we can set that up on the other side. Focusing on straightening that back knee. Ready, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, that's 1 round through. So we'll need to stack our blocks up again. We're gonna go through 1 more time through those exercises. On the first one, our reps are gonna be slightly different. We're gonna do 3 reps coming up and down, but then we'll do a 10-second hold after that last rep. So you can just follow along. Same setup. Let's put that back foot on the blocks. Open up into the deep lunge. Arms are up overhead. Coming up, when we're up, we tuck the hips under, and we're gonna go for 3. 1, 2, 3, but go down and hold here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Coming up and out. Little breather, and when you're ready, set it up on the other side. Long lunge. Arms go up, standing up, tuck the hip under, and down for 1, down for 2, down for 3, and hold here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Coming up and out slowly. Okay, this next one we need the block under the front leg. We're going to focus on the front leg contractions. If you found you had a little bit of strength that first round doing this, you can ramp up the intensity of your contraction and push down a little bit harder. Let's get ready and drive that leg down for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See if it allows you a little bit more range into your split. And press for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And press for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And press for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Last one. And press for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And coming out. Set it up on your other side. Okay, once you're comfortable, same thing on this side. Ready, and pressure down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. and pressure down for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You can also play around with hands on floor, hips, or just off. And let's go for rep 3. Pressure down, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And go push down for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we've got one more rep here. And drive down for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. We'll switch the legs again. Back to the first side. Block will go under the back or under both legs. We'll be focusing on lifting the back knee off or pressing it off. Okay, so I'm in my front split here. Ready, and press the back knee off for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Switch sides. Get ready and press up for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, that concludes our active section of our front split. Okay, we've made it to the final part of our flexibility session. So we're going to hold a passive front split hold. You can support yourself using your block, so you can hold one of these under each hand if you like, but that is optional. If you feel better about it and you're quite low, you can have hands on the floor. For this demonstration, I'm going to hold the blocks. So blocks on either side of your body, going out into the front split. Same position we've been working the entire session. We want to go as square as possible, and we're going to hold here for 30 seconds. I've started timing. What we want to focus on here is to get to a position where it's uncomfortable and we're pushing our range, but we don't want to be in extreme pain. So if it's sharp, if it's really painful, you do need to sort of come up into something that's manageable and that you could still breathe and talk through. We've got 5 seconds to go. And coming up. And just take a little rest in between, where you just sit your hips onto your heels, closing up the ankles. And let's get set on the other side. Opening up into that split. And I'm timing here. And just focus on the breathing. You want to relax and teach your body that this is a safe position for you. Three, 2, 1, and coming up. That takes us to the end of our flexibility session. Can't wait to see you on our next workout.